Welcome, friends, to Wisdom and Wealth. Have you ever felt that quiet peace arise from simply ceasing to hold on so tightly? It's not the kind of giving up that drains your spirit. Rather, it's that gentle release that frees your heart from fear, pressure, and the constant urge to control everything. It's a strange, yet beautiful truth that most of the pain we carry doesn't originate from what life brings us, but from how fiercely we grip onto it. Imagine this: the job you're clinging to, the relationship you're guarding with trembling hands, the identity you're desperate to protect. These things exhaust you, and why? Because you've tied them to your very survival. It's a common trap, especially as we navigate the complexities of life after 40, and perhaps even more so for some. If you like the content of this channel so far, please click on that like button. But what if true wisdom lies not in guarding these things, but in letting them rest lightly in your palm, knowing they were never truly yours to hold? Letting go isn't weakness, it is quiet strength. It is the wisdom of seeing clearly that life is always changing, and that clinging only deepens our suffering. If you feel stuck, anxious, or unseen despite doing everything right, this message is especially for you. Stay with me until the end because there's a bonus lesson waiting that could shift the way you see your entire life. And if you find value in these teachings, please consider subscribing to Wisdom and Wealth for more insights. Sometimes a single truth can change everything. This may be that truth for you today. Lesson 1: The illusion of control and the wisdom of release. Have you ever wondered why life feels so heavy when you're trying your hardest to keep everything in order? We spend so much of our time gripping situations, people, and plans as if our grip alone will keep the world from crumbling. But think of sand in your palm: the harder you clutch it, the faster it slips away. Control feels comforting, like a shield against uncertainty. And as many of us know, uncertainty can feel especially daunting, particularly as we get older. But in truth, it's just the mind's most convincing illusion. We think controlling life will keep us safe, but often it only feeds our fear of losing, failing, or not measuring up. If things don't unfold exactly as we imagined, we experience anxiety. Now, if you are enjoying these points so far, please like this video. In Buddhist teachings, there is a principle called non-attachment. Many misunderstand it as indifference, but non-attachment isn't apathy, it is the courage to let life flow without changing it to fit your expectations. You are not here to possess this moment, only to witness it with a quiet heart. Reflect on your own journey. How many days have you lost in overthinking, worrying, and trying to hold on to what is already drifting away? Did it bring peace, or did it only create more tension within you? Imagine for a single day you chose to soften your grip. Instead of tightly planning each hour, you breathe deeply, observe life as it unfolded, and respond with calm rather than reacting in fear. Ask yourself honestly, what am I so afraid will happen if I let go today? Often, you'll find it isn't danger that holds you back, it's discomfort. And let me ask, are you following the wisdom of this channel so far? If so, then please subscribe to Wisdom and Wealth. But discomfort is not your enemy, it is the quiet doorway to growth. The job that slipped through your fingers, perhaps it wasn't meant to guide your path forward. The relationship that ended, perhaps it was a chapter that shaped you, not the whole story you're becoming. Life whispers to us with guidance each day, but our resistance makes us deaf to its wisdom. Letting go does not make life fall apart, instead, it allows life to settle into the place it was always meant to be. It may not match the plans in your mind, but it often reveals something your soul deeply needed. Surrender is not weakness, it is profound wisdom. It is the strength to trust life's current instead of fighting against its natural flow. Practice this today. When you notice yourself tensing up inside, pause, breathe gently, and ask yourself, is this worth the heaviness I'm holding? Then loosen your grip, allow life to move around you, and trust its unfolding. Watch quietly how peace enters when you no longer try to control every breath and moment. A monk once shared, peace does not exist in a world free of noise or chaos. Peace is born within the mind that remains calm amidst them. That calm does not grow from control, it grows from trust. Perhaps letting go is not losing. Perhaps it is the only way to discover true peace. For if you wish to rise into the sky, you must release your hold on the ground. If you long to move forward, you must loosen the grip of a past that pulls you back. Let go, trust life to meet you where you are, and watch what beautiful truths unfold when you finally set yourself free. Lesson 2. The paradox of detachment, finding true power. Have you ever considered that the very thing you cling to might be what's holding you down? In this world driven by results and achievements, we often measure our worth by goals reached and dreams secured. But think of a kite, it doesn't soar higher when pulled forcefully, instead, it rises gracefully when given the freedom to catch the wind. This is the paradox of detachment. The moment you release your desperate need for something, you create space for it to come to you. To let go is not to lose control, but to gain a different, deeper kind of power. Though it sounds backward, this truth sits at the heart of Buddhist wisdom. Detachment does not mean giving up on life, it means showing up completely without fear clouding your vision or chaining your spirit to expectations. When you are detached, you are not cold or disconnected, you are simply no longer imprisoned by the craving to control what was never meant to be possessed. Buddhism teaches that attachment is the root of suffering, not because desires themselves are wrong, but because tying your identity to them steals your freedom. Detachment isn't indifference, it is quiet liberation. It is acting from inner clarity rather than from desperation or fear. Reflect on your own path for a moment. Perhaps you poured every ounce of energy into your career, a relationship, or a lifelong dream. The harder you pushed, the more it seemed to drift away. Nights spent awake replaying conversations in your mind, rearranging plans, tightening your grip. Yet instead of peace, there was only more pressure. Instead of clarity, confusion. Why? Because true power does not come from gripping tighter, it grows from your peaceful, unwavering presence. Letting go does not mean you stop caring, it means you stop clinging. You begin to shift your question from, will this work out for me, to, is this aligned with my truth right now? That small shift changes everything. No longer are you reacting out of fear of loss, you are responding from inner alignment and strength. Practice this today, set your intentions with honesty, but then release the outcome. Speak your truth without the need to manipulate or force a response. Show up in your work, your relationships, your dreams, not burdened with expectation, but filled with sincerity. And then step back, allow life to unfold in its own timing, like petals opening to the morning sun. Contemplate impermanence. Watch how your thoughts and emotions rise and fall like the tide. Nothing stays forever, not even pain. The day you truly understand this, your life becomes lighter. You begin to move with the rhythm of life instead of battling against it. Ask yourself today, am I forcing something that should be allowed to grow naturally? Because what we push too hard often shatters in our hands. What we nurture with trust and patience, that is what blooms. Remember, surrender is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is understanding that while control is an illusion, presence is real power. What has clinging ever truly given you? Has it brought peace, or has it multiplied your pain? Has it revealed clarity, or surrounded you with confusion? Perhaps letting go is the quiet shortcut to everything your heart longs for. Think of the seed in the earth, it does not bloom because you demand it to grow, it blooms when you give it space and gentle care. Detachment does not strip you of life, it gives you wings. It places you in a space of true power, the kind that rises from authenticity, not anxiety. So loosen your grip, let the kite of your life rise with the wind, let go and allow life to lift you to heights you could never reach by force alone. I invite you to subscribe to Wisdom and Wealth for more enriching content. It is with great hope that you follow the road to truth. Lesson 3, The Trap of Overthinking. Have you ever felt that thinking more would finally bring you peace? We often believe we are being productive by replaying problems in our minds, convinced that if we think hard enough, the answers will appear. But overthinking is like stirring muddy water, the more you disturb it, the cloudier it becomes. Clarity comes not from constant mental churning, but from quiet stillness. Yet stillness frightens us. Silence feels like failure in a world obsessed with action and hustle. And so we keep thinking, analyzing, forecasting, replaying, trapped in an endless loop that promises clarity but delivers confusion. Buddhism calls this the monkey mind, the restless thoughts that jump from worry to doubt to fear. This mind seeks control through thinking, but true clarity doesn't rise from noise, it rises from silence, from the space that thinking cannot touch. Notice this truth in your life: often, the answer you've been searching for arrives not while you're lost in thought, but in quiet moments, during a walk, beneath silent trees, under warm water in the shower, or in a peaceful pause between your worries. Why? Because in those moments, you finally create space for wisdom to surface. We all long for peace, yet we try to think our way into peace. But peace is not something you chase, it is what remains when you stop chasing. Try this today: when your mind begins to spiral into endless loops, don't follow it deeper. Pause, close your eyes, take a single, slow breath. Inhale calm, exhale the stories. One conscious breath can dissolve what 100 frantic thoughts could never resolve. Ask yourself honestly, am I truly thinking, or am I avoiding? Because sometimes thinking becomes a shield against feeling, a way to delay decisions, to escape the fear of the unknown. But life does not change because you think about it. Life changes when you move, when you act, when you stand up from the fog of analysis and take a step forward. Set gentle boundaries with your thoughts. If you're caught in indecision, give yourself a time limit. Do not let it spill into paralysis. Clarity loves decisiveness. Even a small action will disrupt the mental prison you've built. Trust the simplicity of your quiet, inner knowing. That soft feeling in your chest you keep ignoring is not weakness, it is wisdom whispering beneath the noise. You will not hear it if you let your thoughts shout over its calm guidance. What if today you stopped trying to fix everything with thinking and simply allowed yourself to feel? Feel the discomfort, feel the fear, watch it rise and fall like a wave on the ocean without trying to control it. In that presence, you discover the courage to live. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is nothing, not from indifference, but from presence. Because the moment you stop resisting what is here, the present moment begins to reveal its quiet truths to you. And in those truths lives your deepest guidance. Ask yourself now, are my thoughts serving me, or enslaving me? Remember this, your mind is a tool, but it was never meant to be your master. And tools serve their purpose only when you know when to set them down. So stop stirring the waters of your mind, let the pond become still, let silence rise like the dawn. You may find that everything you've been searching for has been waiting quietly beneath the noise all along. Peace is not out there waiting to be found, peace is what remains when you finally let go. Lesson 4: When caring too much becomes a burden. Sometimes we care so deeply that we suffocate the very things we want to nurture. We smother our dreams with endless perfectionism, burden our relationships with heavy expectations, and bury our inner peace beneath layers of self-imposed pressure. It feels noble to care this much, as if we're proving our worth through tireless devotion. But often, this deep caring is just fear wearing a gentle mask, the fear of losing control, of not being enough, of not being loved unless we constantly perform and please. Yet love and purpose are like flames, they grow only when there is air around them. Caring deeply does not mean gripping tightly. You have probably felt the weight of trying to hold everyone and everything together. You say yes when your body begs for rest. You absorb the emotions of those around you. You take responsibility for fixing problems that were never yours to solve. This feels like compassion, but beneath it lies a silent desperation to stay needed. In truth, it is over-responsibility, and it leads not to connection, but to exhaustion and emptiness. Buddhist teachings on loving kindness remind us that real care is not about controlling life or others. It is about presence. It is the quiet strength of being there for someone, or for yourself, without fixing, forcing, or managing their journey. It is giving life and people the space to breathe. In that space, growth happens naturally, without your desperate hand shaping it. Ask yourself today, am I trying to be everything for everyone? You were never meant to carry every burden. You do not need to play the healer, the pleaser, or the perfect one. These roles may feel selfless, but they are often the ego disguised as service. Real compassion begins when you allow others to walk their own paths, even when those paths are messy, even when they are not what you would choose for them. Let go of needing to be understood all the time. Release the need to control how others see you. When your worth depends on external validation, your care becomes conditional, it transforms into fear pretending to be love, and its weight silently drains your spirit. Reframe your caring as presence. Sit with someone without offering immediate solutions. Support them without trying to fix their reality. Allow yourself to rest without guilt or the nagging thought that your worth is tied to productivity. Care for yourself not because you feel broken, but because you are already whole and worthy of love as you are. Release your anxious attachments, the constant checking, the silent fear of being forgotten, the endless analyzing of every conversation. That is not intuition speaking to you, it is insecurity. And unless you meet it with awareness and compassion, it will quietly sabotage your peace. What might happen if you stopped trying to manage everything and everyone? If you trusted that people could navigate their lives without your constant intervention? That situations could resolve themselves without your control? You would feel lighter, freer, more at ease within your own heart. And strangely, your relationships would deepen, for they would be rooted in trust, not tension. Remember this, not everything is yours to carry. You are allowed to care deeply without controlling, to love wholeheartedly without losing yourself, to give generously without grasping for reassurance. Ask yourself today, am I truly caring, or am I managing others out of fear? With good intentions, this is your quiet invitation to stop trying so hard. You do not need to be perfect to be loved. You do not need to overgive to be valuable. Let your care breathe like a flame needing gentle air. Let your soul breathe in its own quiet rhythm. Let go not because you care less, but because you finally understand what real, freeing care looks like. When you do, everything begins to fall into place, your peace, your clarity, and the beautiful connections that grow from your authenticity rather than your fear. Lesson 5: The quiet power of releasing validation. You were not born to seek approval, you were born to live with quiet truth and deep authenticity. Yet along the winding path of life, applause began to feel like breath itself. Praise, likes, recognition, they became silent evidence that you are enough. Without realizing it, your peace became tethered to the shifting winds of other people's opinions. But reflect for a moment, does a mountain stand because people admire it? No. It stands because that is its nature, unmoved, unshaken, complete within itself. This is the power you were born with, hidden beneath the layers of need and performance. The chase for validation is subtle but deeply exhausting. It often disguises itself as ambition or drive. But if your worth collapses the moment someone disagrees or disapproves, that is not drive, that is dependence. And dependence on approval keeps you from your true power, because it turns your life into a performance rather than an authentic expression. When you live for applause, you are no longer living freely. Each action becomes a silent question: did they like me? Was that enough? But validation is a moving target. It shifts with trends, with moods, with others' insecurities and projections. How can you build the steady temple of your life on such ever-changing sands? Buddhist wisdom teaches that freedom is not found in being liked, but in being real. The moment you let go of craving approval, something sacred awakens within you. You hear your own voice again. You begin to act from alignment with truth rather than performance for recognition. You speak words that rise from your soul, not from your fear. You choose paths that honor your spirit, not your reputation. Ask yourself honestly, who am I when no one is watching? If there were no applause, no praise, no nods of approval, would you still create what you love? Would you still speak your truth, even if it trembles in your throat? Would you still show up for your life each day with presence and sincerity? Know this, you are enough, even in silence. Your worth does not waver with praise or criticism. Praise feels sweet, criticism can sting, but neither changes your essence. They are passing weather, and you are the mountain that remains. When you stop outsourcing your worth to others' opinions, fear begins to loosen its grip. The fear of failure, of judgment, of invisibility dissolves in the light of your own inner approval. In that fearless space, creativity flows, courage rises, and purpose quietly returns. Try this gentle practice each day, validate yourself with truth, not ego. Name 3 small ways you showed up for yourself today. Perhaps you set a boundary with kindness. Perhaps you rested without guilt. Perhaps you spoke a truth that needed to be said. Let these quiet moments be enough. And when praise or criticism comes your way, receive them with calm awareness, without clinging or resisting. They are just sounds passing through the air, your essence remains untouched by either. Seek moments of solitude, not loneliness, but sacred solitude, the space where no one else's opinions echo, where only your truth remains. That is where your real self lives, the one who does not need permission to breathe freely, to walk peacefully, to stand silently in her power. Ask yourself today, am I living for applause, or for alignment? Because if you chase applause, you will always feel one step behind, endlessly grasping for approval. But if you live in alignment with your soul's quiet truth, even your silence will echo with power. Let go of the need to be seen, and you will finally see yourself, not as a reflection shaped by others, but as the mountain you have always been, unshakable, deeply rooted, and completely enough. I encourage you to subscribe to Wisdom and Wealth. By becoming a part of this community, you are expanding your journey to finding truth. Lesson 6, the quiet power of the whatever mindset. Peace does not come from controlling every detail of your life. In fact, the more you try to manage, fix, and force life to fit your plans, the more tangled and chaotic your inner world becomes. Yet there is a mindset, silent, powerful, and deeply freeing, that can transform the way you move through this world. It is the whatever mindset, not from apathy or resignation, but from a place of grounded wisdom. Whatever happens, happens. I remain. This is not giving up, it is anchoring yourself in something deeper than fleeting outcomes. Life is unpredictable by its very nature. Plans dissolve without warning, people change their hearts, dreams evolve beyond what you once imagined. The mind panics at such uncertainty, scrambling for control, demanding answers, resisting what is. But what if true peace isn't about life unfolding exactly as you wish, but about your ability to remain steady when it doesn't? Like the silent mountain standing unmoved as winds rush past its slopes, the mountain does not argue with the wind, it does not bend in fear. It simply remains, calm, rooted, unshaken. This whatever mindset is not indifference, it is a quiet spiritual confidence. It is knowing you can face life as it is, not just when it feels comfortable or convenient. It is living rooted in your truth, even when the ground beneath you feels as though it is shifting. From this grounded place, clarity begins to arise. You stop overreacting to life's daily waves. You stop making every word and event so personal. You begin choosing peace over pride, presence over performance. Try practicing this radical neutrality today. When someone says something that triggers your defenses, pause, feel your reaction, but do not obey it. Ask yourself softly, does this moment need my response, or just my awareness? In moments of chaos, whisper to yourself, this does not define me, because it never does. Your worth is not revealed by how smoothly life unfolds, it is revealed by how calmly you hold yourself when it does not. Bring humor into your spiritual practice. When life spins out of your plans, smile gently, laugh softly. Ask yourself, will this matter in 5 years? If the answer is no, then do not give it 5 hours of your precious peace. Often, peace is not found in having the perfect answer, but in releasing the desperate need for one. Ask yourself today, can I remain calm even as everything around me changes? Because if your peace is built upon stability, you will spend your life anxious and afraid. But if your peace is rooted in presence, surrender, and a quiet inner steadiness, no storm can uproot you. This, whatever, mindset does not make you passive, it makes you powerful. When you no longer need life to bend to your will, you begin to live in harmony with life itself. You stop fighting reality, you start flowing with it. You become like the mountain, steady, anchored, unmoved. So the next time life spins in unexpected directions, take a deep breath and say quietly within, whatever happens, happens. I remain. This is not weakness, this is true mastery. Because letting go is not losing control, it is creating space for life to meet you where you truly are. And in that sacred meeting, everything begins to fall into place, your clarity, your strength, your deep inner alignment. Lesson 7. The freedom of realizing you are not your thoughts. Most people live their entire lives trapped within invisible walls they cannot see. These walls are built not from stone, but from thoughts, thoughts that echo worries, judgments, fears, and old stories that have shaped their reality. We spend years believing that every voice in our mind speaks the truth, but there is a quiet truth that can set you free: you are not your thoughts. You are the silent awareness that sees them come and go. Imagine the sky on a stormy day. Dark clouds may gather, thunder may roar, but the vast sky remains untouched. The clouds move through it, but they do not stain its endless openness. Your mind is like the sky, and your thoughts are the clouds. Thoughts will come and go, but you remain, quiet, still, and whole. There have been times in your life, perhaps even today, when a single thought ruined your peace, one negative comment, one fearful idea, and your entire spirit spiraled into anxiety or sadness. But what if those thoughts were not truth, but only habits, echoes of old conditioning, not reflections of present reality? Thoughts arise automatically, that is not your fault. But suffering begins when you start believing and attaching to them without question. You are not the voice whispering, "I am not good enough." You are the silent listener who hears that voice. And in the moment you realize this, a gentle freedom begins to rise within you, a freedom born not from controlling your thoughts, but from no longer being controlled by them. Practice watching your thoughts like you would watch the weather. The next time your mind races with anxious stories, do not fight them, simply observe them. Imagine yourself as a bird watching the clouds drift by. Say softly within, "This is just thinking." Then return to your breath, to your body, to the stillness of this present moment. You will start to see how much noise your mind creates to feel safe and in control. But pure awareness does not need safety or control, it simply is, vast, open, untouched by the passing storms. Label your thought patterns gently. The voice that says you are falling behind in life, that's not insight, that's programming from a world that measures worth by speed and success. Ask yourself, is this thought helpful, or is it just habitual noise? You will find that most thoughts are recycled echoes of fear, ego, and the past. They do not deserve your obedience, they simply seek your attention. When you stop demanding that every thought make sense or be acted upon, something softens within you. You no longer feel the need to manage every moment or control your mind like a harsh ruler. That is when a deeper shift begins to unfold, because clarity is not something you force by thinking harder, it rises naturally when the mind quietens enough to listen to the truth beneath the noise. This is the heart of mindfulness and the wisdom of Buddhist teaching. The Buddha did not teach us to destroy the mind, but to understand it, to watch its nature with quiet compassion, just as you would watch a river flow without being swept away by its current. Each time you pause and remind yourself, "I am not my thoughts," you take back your quiet power. You return to the deep stillness beneath the storms of your mind. So today, ask yourself, what thoughts have I been mistaking for truth? And who am I beneath these thoughts? Remember this, You are not the passing clouds, nor the storms they bring, you are the vast sky itself, silent, unbroken, and free. And when you stop fighting the clouds, when you let them pass without resistance, you will see that everything begins to fall into place. Lesson 8, the quiet superpower of surrender. There comes a moment in life when true strength is no longer measured by how fiercely you hold on, but by how gently you let go. That moment becomes a quiet turning point. Because what if surrender is not weakness at all? What if surrender is your greatest hidden superpower? Imagine a small boat battling the force of a rushing river. No matter how hard it rows, it remains stuck in place, or worse, it begins to sink beneath the current's unrelenting pull. Yet the moment the boat stops struggling, the river carries it effortlessly downstream. This is what surrender truly is. It is not giving up on life, it is giving into life as it is in this moment. Most of us live in a quiet war with reality. We push against outcomes, clutch tightly to plans, wrestle with the unknown, and call this resistance ambition or discipline. But beneath it all lies fear, fear of losing control, fear of appearing weak, fear of letting go of the identity we have built to feel safe. But here is the quiet truth: control is an illusion we cling to, and resistance only leaves us weary and fragmented. Surrender does not mean you no longer care, it means you stop torturing yourself over what was never in your hands to control. You take action from a place of calm clarity, not frantic chaos. You begin to move with life's current, rather than exhausting yourself by swimming against it. Ask yourself gently, where in my life am I forcing something that no longer flows? Perhaps it is a relationship that has served its purpose, a job that no longer nourishes your spirit, or a dream that has quietly transformed into something new. Are you rowing in circles simply because you fear drifting into the unknown? Or are you ready at last to trust the current that has always been guiding you? Try this today. Breathe deeply and softly say to yourself, I don't know, and that is okay. Feel the quiet freedom in these words. Feel the space that opens within you. You do not need to have every answer before you take your next step. You only need to release the desperate grip of needing to know. Reflect for a moment. The most powerful shifts in your life did not come from meticulous plans or tight control. They came unannounced, when you finally let go, when you whispered in surrender, I can't force this anymore. And in that softness, the right person appeared, the decision became clear, or the path unfolded with silent ease. That is not luck or coincidence, that is life revealing itself once you stop resisting its quiet guidance. In Buddhist wisdom, surrender is not passive resignation, it is active, trusting alignment. It is trust in the impermanence of all things, trust in the wisdom of the present moment, trust that life is not an enemy to conquer, but a river to flow with. Even the Buddha taught that clinging is the root of suffering. Letting go is not failure, letting go is the doorway to freedom and inner peace. Ask yourself today, what am I still fighting that no longer serves my becoming? Is it an old version of yourself you have outgrown? An outcome you are obsessed with? An identity rooted in fear and doubt? Perhaps surrender is the quiet bridge to the next chapter you were meant to live. Because the moment you stop demanding that life be something other than what it is, you begin to live fully within the truth of the present. That is where all quiet magic happens. Let go of the outcome, anchor your presence into each action with sincerity, do your part with love and integrity, then release the rest into the hands of the universe. That is not laziness, that is alignment. That is not apathy, that is profound inner peace. Ask yourself today, how much peace could I gain if I simply surrendered this silent fight? Because when you finally let go, everything you have been struggling to control finds its rightful place, and your spirit at last breathes freely. Lesson 9. Embracing the wisdom of groundlessness. There is a quiet fear that lives unspoken within many hearts, the fear of groundlessness. It is that space in life where nothing feels certain, where identities dissolve, where plans unravel, and where the ground beneath your feet seems to vanish. Yet within this mysterious space lies the seed of true transformation. Like a tree that must surrender its golden leaves to the winds of autumn, real growth asks us to let go before we can bloom anew. But we resist. We grip tightly to what is familiar, the titles, routines, relationships, and stories of who we believe we are meant to be, not because these things are deeply true, but because they give us the illusion of certainty. We seek comfort in the known, yet the deepest truths live in the open fields of the unknown. Many feel stuck at this very moment in life, but it is not because they are choosing the wrong path, it is because they are trying to control what was never meant to be controlled. They are waiting for life to become predictable before they dare to move forward. But here is a quiet wisdom: groundlessness is not your enemy, it is your portal. Just as the cocoon never promises the caterpillar that it will become a butterfly, it simply asks it to dissolve completely into the unknown before it can take flight. In the same way, your next evolution does not require your certainty, it requires your surrender. Reflect for a moment on the most profound turning points in your life. Did they arrive according to plan, or did they emerge from chaos, from moments when you thought everything was falling apart? Sometimes falling apart is not a breakdown, but a breakthrough into what you were always meant to become. Sit with the unknown without rushing to cover it with answers. Let it stretch you, let it strip away everything that was never truly yours. In Buddhist teachings, groundlessness is a sacred space. It is where ego loosens its grip and truth begins to emerge. It is where attachments dissolve, and your deepest self remembers its boundless nature. When you no longer demand that everything makes sense, a quiet power rises within you. You stop negotiating with life to fit your plans, and instead begin meeting life fully, without guarantees, without scripts, just presence. Try this: the next time life feels unstable, pause, breathe deeply, and whisper within, "This too is part of my path." You are not lost, you are being remade in ways you cannot yet see. Stop asking for the map, become the courageous explorer. Let life shake the old structures within you, and watch what remains standing. Often, things don't go as you expect, but what's real is what remains, and what's real will never leave you. Ask yourself today, am I holding on to certainty because I'm afraid, or am I allowing myself to grow through the chaos? Do I trust the quiet way my life is unfolding, or am I still trying to change what already exists? Growth isn't about forcing everything to stay in place, it's about allowing yourself to fall apart with calm and quiet trust. Let the old leaves gently fall. Let old labels fade away like the morning mist. Give yourself permission to stand open and true in front of life. Because only in that openness can something new begin and grow. When you stop searching for firm ground under your feet, you begin to see a deeper truth: you are the ground itself. You are the calm in the storm. Don't be afraid of the unknown, welcome it with the quiet strength of your soul. Because that is where your next chapter begins, and that is where your truest freedom is found. When you finally let go of the need for the ground to stay still, you'll see that everything you've been searching for has always been rising from within. Bonus lesson: the power of doing less and simply being. Picture a lotus flower resting peacefully on calm water. It doesn't try hard to open its petals, it doesn't force or rush. It just blooms when the time is right, trusting the quiet strength below. This is the quiet art of living, doing less, being more. In a world that's always busy, always chasing, always proving worth through endless action, we forget a simple truth: just being is enough. When you finally ease your grip on the need to prove yourself, something sacred appears. Your true self rises with calm confidence. Real growth doesn't come from constant effort, it begins in the stillness of being present. Try this every day: take a few quiet moments to sit without distractions. Let the restless dust in your mind slowly settle. Notice how your body softens, how your breath becomes slower, how your nervous system relaxes into gentle peace. This isn't laziness or escape, it's a return to your natural way of being, peaceful, whole, and fully alive. When you stop judging your worth by constant doing, you begin to truly exist. From this quiet place of being, your actions become wiser, kinder, and deeply in tune. Ask yourself today, What if I stopped pushing so much and trusted the person I already am? What if all this driving and proving is just an old story I no longer need to live by? In silence, there's nothing to fix or achieve, there is only the presence of your true self, untouched by fear, free from the weight of expectations. In this stillness, you remember the deepest truth: you are already enough. Who are you when there's nothing left to do, when all the roles and labels fade away? That question leads you to real freedom. When you no longer perform for approval or chase after worth, you discover the peace that was always waiting beneath the noise. From this peace, life starts to unfold in its own quiet and mysterious ways. New paths open up, soft ideas begin to grow, gentle answers come, not because you chase them, but because you made room for them to appear. Doing less doesn't mean stepping away from life, it means stepping more deeply into it. It means trusting life's natural rhythm instead of trying to control everything. It's about becoming the calm in the middle of the storm, the one who moves with stillness and inner strength, not fear or pressure. So ask yourself, what burden could I set down today if I truly believe that who I am is already enough? What if the silence has already answered what you've been trying so hard to prove? When you release the constant urge to act, your deeper self begins to rise. Presence becomes your true strength. Life is not here to be forced, fixed, or conquered. It is here to be lived with courage, quiet trust, and the deep peace that comes when you finally understand the art of doing less is the doorway to becoming all that you already are. Like the lotus that blooms gently on still water, your life will unfold not through rushing or struggle, but through calm surrender to the beauty that already lives inside you. Conclusion. As you move ahead from this moment, remember, life is not a battle to win, but a journey to welcome. Each time you let go of the need to control, to prove, or to push, you return to the quiet wisdom that's always been within you. You feel lighter, freer, and more at peace. The truth is, you were never meant to carry the world on your own, you were meant to walk alongside it, gently and with trust. So today, allow yourself to release whatever no longer supports your peace. Let your thoughts drift like clouds, let life move like a flowing river, and let your heart open like a quiet lotus on still water. If this video brought you even a moment of calm, clarity, or courage, just imagine what learning these timeless teachings